This is Joyce, the voice of Joyce, and thank you for inviting me back into your homes once again. I do these recordings on a Friday, and you see them on Tuesday. Today was not a good day for people. We're now at 14.5% unemployment. Stock market's going up. That means that big business just doesn't have that many expenses anymore. It's now our bailout. All those trillions of dollars have gone to big business, and everyone I've spoken to has either still not received their $1,200, hasn't gotten the $600 benefit on top of their unemployment benefits, nor are most people getting paid sick leave. So there's still economically a lot to be done. Trump wants to go back to work. He wants the economy to soar once again, as if business will be usual. It's not usual for him. He's increased the testing of himself and Pence from once a week to every single day. While most of us in America would like to be tested at least once. He's concerned about the political optics of knowing the statistics of how many people have the virus, how many people may have died from the virus and not been counted, and he doesn't want to know. And because he doesn't want to know, 330 million of us are fearful to go back to work without having proper controls in the workplace and proper guidelines to work by. When you don't have testing and you don't have tracing, we have no idea who next to us or even ourselves do we have the disease, and will we carry it back to our loved ones. This is a tremendous concern. I don't understand why politics and profits should trump people. I understand, I just don't like it. Especially when the president and the vice president are fearful enough of contracting the disease that they're now going to test themselves every single day. But for the rest of us, well, they're trying to suppress the CDC guidelines for going back to work. They're trying to suppress our getting the proper protective equipment that we need to be safe. And they're trying to suppress anything but what they think is an economic solution. They forgot that late-stage capitalism is really like late-stage cancer. When you've destroyed your population, you have no customers and you have no employees. Who's going to go back to work? Many are fearful. Do they need jobs? You bet. They're concerned about feeding their families. They're concerned about not contracting the disease. They're mourning for those they've lost to the disease, for coworkers. It has been a tragic state of affairs. In Suffolk County alone, I listened to the AG. He's talking about domestic violence going up, and now they've got protocols for people to call anonymously to hotlines to get help. They've got opioid addiction on the rise, and they're trying to stem the addiction by getting people treatment and only prosecuting the dealers. But diseases of despair that were the underlying causes of so many deaths in America before COVID-19 are now becoming resurgent once again. So not only are people fighting for their lives on so many fronts, our politics is making it more difficult for everyone. This is not the America I grew up with. This is not the America after World War II, where everybody fought to save ourselves and the world, where every person counted, and they do count. Just because the optics aren't good and the politics don't work for Trump, that's no reason to deny 330 million of us protection from COVID-19. Doesn't look like the summer months are going to help us. And we don't know what a herd immunity looks like yet. It kind of looks like what we're seeing in America. Sweden is testing it out, and their numbers are higher than ours per million folks. The way to go is testing and tracing. Which brings me to New York City and Mayor de Blasio. We have a perfectly good way to trace contagion in the city. It's through the public health. Rely on the experts. Rely on proven science, and we won't go wrong. Just like we need CDC guidelines for going back to work, and we need OSHA to make new guidelines for how the workplace should be structured under COVID-19, we need public health officials to trace and track our contacts so that some people who have probably had immunity to the disease already can go into the public and help understand the infectious rate. These are all necessities that should be implemented. They're not being implemented because of politics and profits. That's not humane. Not when we have 14.5% unemployment. Not when we have so many people who are food insecure. Not when we have an online learning program that doesn't reach at least 10% of the population because they're not connected to the internet or they don't have computers. Well, we know where all the fissures are in our society. We're going to have to spend money on people, on food, on supply chains, on education. We need guidelines. When can kids go back to school so parents can go back to work without fear of being prone to COVID-19. We need to have trust in government and trust in business that they will do right by everyone, not just cronies, but everyone, all 330 million of us. There are philanthropies that could be giving big to make sure that the supply chains work, that the pantries remain open, that kids all get computers, that they insist upon infrastructure for our country. Because if one industry goes, we all know that we're going to need technology and we're going to need infrastructure for so many items, whether it's healthcare, education, transportation, connectivity. We need it. And there's no reason that won't bring new jobs along with it. And we're also going to need renewable energy and fuels. Everyone's happy listening to the birds again. It's a great way to see the sky and see nature. So much of this planet was polluted, and so much of it is now clear. We don't want the old normal. We want a new normal where technology is inclusive of all of us and where we're all building together for a better future. It can happen. I've seen it in other countries. Other countries are opening faster than us, and that's because they tested and they traced their population and they isolated sick people early. It's not too late for us. I don't see the cavalry yet, but I'm hopeful that somehow or other people will come to their common sense and realize that a healthy, productive, educated population is the only population we want. We need a happiness quotient. And just as an aside, if they've done my qualitative easing for the middle class and just given everyone $4,500 each, 154 million Americans, ages 18 and up, making $75,000 or less, we wouldn't have had the deficits that we're seeing today. People would be able to buy food and shelter in place properly and be secure. The Finnish experiment in a basic living wage worked. Didn't mean people were more employed, but they were happier and secure and able to think of new ideas. That's what we want, and that's what we need. No more monopolies and more entrepreneurs and more creative thinking on everything that we do from now on. Gotta have a new way forward, a better way forward, so 330 million people not only survive, but they thrive as well. Thank you for listening. God bless you all. See you next week. You can bet on it. Bye now.